Okay, this one here, we're trying to get my camera adjusted here a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to have to do the best we can with it. I can't get the angle right. We're going to be drawing this one out of the textbook. It's Project 3.1. It's a metric drawing. And here's your the textbook page. So we'll be taking our measurements from this drawing here. This is what your drawing is going to look like when you're done. And so with the drawing sheet here already has a title block on it and everything in the isometric view, and it has these indexes in the corners that we're going to place our views in. If some of the drawing assignments you'll have will have these index marks, and you'll do that. If not, you have to calculate your spacing, and when we get to a drawing that we may have to do that, then I'll walk you through how to do that. With this one, I think it's easiest if we start with the front view, because the front view kind of gives us the most detail for what we're going to do. So we'll start with the front view, and since I have these index marks right here, I'm going to go ahead and draw a line up. Now when you're drawing with the triangles, I find it easier. Back up. I'm going to start with a lighter lead, and this one is I think it's a 4H lead and a 0.5 millimeter. But I'm going to start with a lighter, and we do that so that it's easier to erase, and then we'll come back in and darken our object lines in after the fact. So I find it easiest with the triangles and the parallel bar if I go ahead and put my pencil on the mark or the line that I want to draw from, and then draw my line and move the triangle into it. Same way with the parallel bar. I'll go ahead and draw that line across. Now this one is a metric drawing, so we're going to be working with a metric rule. And my overall height is 47.6. And so you're going to find it easier to not put your tick marks on the actual line that you're drawn, but either inside or outside. Would be fine, because then you're going to have to do some erasing and stuff like that. So we lay out here, this is 40. Okay, 47.6, and my overall length is 63. So I'll go ahead and put those marks in. And this one, I can go ahead and draw that up because the top view is going to be that long also. And then my side view is going to be that tall also. Okay, so we've got this part right up here that we can draw in, and we know that there's 19 to the top and then 19.5 down. Okay, so I can make those marks. I'm going to wait about the side view since it kind of comes in and out. Okay, and next we got the arc at the top. So we need to find the center mark for it at 31.5, and then it's a radius of 19. So let's come in to 31.5. All right, now a radius 19 would be a diameter of 38. And so the closest I've got is a 38.1 right here. And so I didn't make my mark, so I need a better center line. So line up my center marks, and then I can draw that down below. Okay, and so that's pretty much got my front view done, with the exception of the holes that go through here. So now I want to take my eraser and kind of clean up those edges a little bit. And you may think that if I can save me some time by not drawing long and having to erase, but it doesn't save you that much time. It makes your drawing a little easier to have those corners already drawn in. Okay. All right. Now then, let's look at our side view. And I've got my index mark here, so let me go ahead and put a line up. And the top across here is 19 back. Okay, and then we've got this whole bit right here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this one, the top, because I know here at the back it comes in, and then at the front it comes out. And this whole thing is 47.6 deep, so let's go ahead and mark that. That's my overall depth. And I know where that's, so I'll go ahead and draw this one down to there. And if that was 9.5 deep, I can take my measurement from here, and it goes back to the same front as that. Okay. So I can bring that down and then measure my 9.5 back. Okay, and that's got all of that with the exception of my hidden lines. And I wait about doing hidden lines until I'm darkening my drawing. And so I'll get to that. So next is going to be to erase my overridges here, and then I'll come back with the next video and start on the top view. Okay, when it comes to drawing the top view up here, we could put a 45-degree projection line down, and the way to do that is you come from the rear of your side view and the rear of your top view over, and where those meet, that's where you would draw your projection line. And so if you want, you don't have to do that on this. If you want to, you can. It would be at that corner of the index there. Okay. And what that means is from here we would project over and across. It's a lot of times, anytime, the more you have to measure with a scale, the more error you introduce into your drawing. So sometimes it is easier to just project up, and so let's go ahead and do that on this one. So I'll come to this front corner. We got a mark there. This front corner will mark here. And then I'll project those across. Okay, and in here we have a hidden line that will be in the top view. So let me I'm going to go ahead and project that up, but not bring it across yet. And then we have rounded corners here in the front. We can project up these two lines from here. And we need our center line up there. I'm going to wait about the center line. Okay, so we got that. So now then we've got we got the rounded corners and the holes. And the rounded corners are radius 9.5. Gives me a diameter of 19. So let's go to our template here. We got a 19.05, 3/4, which would be this one here. And I can probably be more accurate if I go ahead and measure and mark those center marks. So let me do that. I need a radius 9.5, sorry. Let me pull back. Okay, and let me mark those. And of course I didn't make those long enough, so let me redo those. Now I can go to my template. Okay, and line those up, and then you're looking at it, it should, you may have to fudge it just a little bit to get it to come in tangent on your edges. Okay, and so now I can clean that up a little bit. Okay. Now then, now I've got everything. I've got a hidden lines to here. I've got to project my holes down to here. And I've got a hidden line to draw here. So now I would go to darkening, and usually, well, you work through a process. You start with you could do your center lines, then your hidden lines, then your object lines last. It's kind of a process, and what you're trying to do is to avoid smearing or smudging as you're as you're trying to work through these things. Because the less erasing you have to do once you get into those darker leads, the better your drawing is going to look. So I'm going to start here. Let's see. I'll go ahead and start with my object lines, okay? Oh, that's 0.3. That's not good. And so I have a tendency, I like to start at the top and work my way down, and then work, you know, like from one side to the other and do everything. And once again, put your lead on the paper and then move your parallel bar to meet your lead so that you're getting a nice, crisp, consistent line as you go across. Not pushing down too hard. Okay, I got all my horizontal lines, and now I'll start with my vertical lines and just kind of work my way from left to right. Okay, darkening. Okay, so I got all my visible lines there. Now let's do our holes up here. And those were a diameter of 9.5. And so I've got a 9.525 millimeter there. And so I'll line up my index marks, okay. And go ahead and using my visible line pencil, just draw them once. And then go ahead and darken in my my radii there on the corners. And this one, you got to be real careful lining it up since you've got some visible lines already drawn. Okay, and then next would be, oh, I got to do this circle down here. Forgot that one. And that one was a R19, so that'd be a 38. Okay, and so now I would project my project these holes down to the front view for the hidden line. So line that up there and then come down here to draw my hidden lines. And you remember back on our sketching, the dashes should be about 1/8 of an inch long. And the gaps about, you know, 1/16 of an inch for the gap. then while I'm here, I can go ahead and draw my center lines. Okay, and let's see, I need them over here also, so I could project. And then project those down into my side view. And then I have a hidden line for the bottom of this. And I need center marks for these, so I'll kind of erase those down a little bit. And with this one, you can see in the book there, we'll have a plus in the middle, or a cross, and then the sides will stop short of the object on the left to right. But then up above, well, they're drawing a continuous one through the whole object, since the object is symmetrical. And then we'll do our center marks for the holes here. Okay, and that's looking good. So next is basically just clean up any eraser stuff that I've got going on. You may need to check your I got some cleaning up to do right there on the and right here on the edges of my where I use the templates. So I'll clean those up and then do my my lettering down here in the bottom, and the lettering should always be you know, uppercase. Block type lettering. Okay, and this is a moly alloy steel, so scale is 1 to 1, and then of course your date, and then do your erasing and get it all cleaned up, and then turn that in. Okay.